150 years ago, most census records showed that a fifth of the respondents listed their occupation as blacksmith. Today, obviously, there are very few people in America that still call themselves a blacksmith. But our Lance Schwartz found one of the few, the proud, the forgers of steel, and he's living in southeast Nebraska. Lance?
All right, thanks, Josh. By day, Eric Klaus of Beatrice has a very 21st century job. He's a computer network administrator. But by night and weekend, Eric partakes in a very 19th century occupation. He's also a blacksmith. And a lot of school kids around Nebraska are thrilled to see him fire up his forge.
My fire will get over 2,500 degrees in the center. Like a lot of people around this area, I hear stories all the time when I'm demonstrating, my grandpa was a blacksmith. Well, I did have a grandpa that was a blacksmith.
Eric Klaus lives in Beatrice, but he does some of his best forging of steel in, appropriately enough, Steele City.
At the end of the day, you've put in a day's work.
Eric and his fellow Prairie Blacksmith Association members enjoy blacksmithing in a shop that was built 114 years ago.
To work here on a quiet day with the trains going through and things like that, it kind of does feel like stepping back in time.
This 1990 Odell High School graduate says that he had been mildly interested in blacksmithing for years. And then
one night we had a men's Bible study group and we went to a blacksmith shop for Bible study. And we watched him making something, and for some reason that night it just really clicked. This is really interesting. I could get into this.
Eric took a blacksmithing class taught by Jim Bernard at Southeast Community College in Beatrice. And then, bam, he's now spent the past decade as a blacksmith.
I enjoy the creative side of it, and this is a chance to learn a new technique or a new way of doing something every time I pick up a hammer.
This 43-year-old gets a thrill out of putting on blacksmithing demonstrations at living history events around the state. His favorite audience includes young children.
When they see that piece of steel, they just can't imagine that a leaf is going to form on the end of that or that it's going to unfold into a cross. And the wonder and amazement on their eyes, when you do that, and just then the realization in their eyes of what it takes to make something by hand. And I don't know how many times I hear kids that age go, I want to be a blacksmith when I grow up, because, and then I laugh and I tell them what I do for a day job. But
Eric is not only a blacksmith, he's an artist as well.
Any of the items that I make are for sale. A lot of times my items sell as fast as I make them, especially at the live demonstrations, because that's really when people see what it takes to make, that bottle opener or that coat hook or something like that. People just are really interested in that whole process.
Eric and his artist wife Robin have joined forces, and they now have a small sideline business called Klaus Creations. They sell their handmade items off their website, and they also sell through Flowing Stone Art Gallery in Beatrice. And I'm telling you, Josh, in this crazy assembly line, mass-produced world we live in these days, it really is nice to see something that is made with human hands, just like they did back in the good old days.
And one of the things that I enjoy most about it is that he talked about the excitement on the kids' faces. And so hopefully this is something that maybe he'll be able to pass along to some of them. That's
fire,
of interest.
pounding.
What's not to like?
That's good fun for kids and adults too.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Lance. We'll take a last look at your forecast next.